My ex tried to cheat. It didn't work out for him, though. After some time, my ex would sleep with his phone in his pocket. Weird red flag, but I never said anything. When I noticed he wouldn't even pull up his phone in front of me, I knew something was up. One night it slipped out of his sweats and I woke up with it near my legs. I was just going to put it on the charger, honestly, but I saw he had a bunch of notifications and messages from a dating app. Man, I wanted to slap him awake, but I didn't. So I created a profile using a friend of mine's pictures that he never met, and I had her approval. She was his type 100%, and I knew he loved blue eyes. So when we matched like I knew we would, we got to chatting. We talked for about a week before I suggested meeting up. Flirting, sexual stuff. He told her, me, that he was single and lived with a friend. So I suggested him paying for a hotel room so we could have a sec. He said he would. We picked a spot. Mind you, I paid for everything because he was unemployed after losing his job. He drained my savings account over the year with manipulation. We're family. We take care of each other when we're in tough spots, he would say whenever I told him I didn't have extra money. I paid my student loans, all bills of a one-bedroom, and the food. This boy had the ballsack to ask me for money in person, that his mom's B-day was coming up and he wanted to buy her something nice. So I gave him $50. Just because it was hilarious at this point. I still think about the smile on his face in that moment. That weekend he left, said he was going to his mom's and that he'd probably stay the night. I kissed him goodbye and told him to have a great time. Then I packed all of his stuff and left it outside. I live in a U.S. city, so it went fast. Got the locks changed. He messaged me a few times on the app. I told him I was running late because I wanted to look perfect, but I was coming and so sorry. My friend also sent me some sexy pictures to send him that didn't fully include her face. She's a real one. I even talked him into jerking off and sending me a video. Then after making him sit until about 1 a.m., I messaged him on the dating app a picture of his belongings being rummaged through by a homeless man, and to enjoy his stay in a hotel. As soon as my phone rang, I blocked his number and went to bed. He was outside of my door the Monday I came home from work, ugly crying, begging, telling me he was homeless and had nowhere to go. When I wasn't having it, he got angry per usual. Once he started grabbing and trying to get into my apartment, I called the police, filed a restraining order because he did threaten my life and my pets for putting him out. Found out he ended up moving a few hours away where his only family is, and has a job. Hopefully he learned something. Ugly crying, begging, telling me he was homeless and had nowhere to go. You handled this beautifully. If a standing ovation was possible on Reddit, I'd give you one. But they don't bloody grasp their actions have consequences. I'm not just talking about cheating or plans to cheat that fell through because of trickery. Just swiping left and right with no intent is damaging to the relationship. Scoping women online to ogle is damaging to the relationship. Instead of working a job and putting effort into the relationship, he half-assed his way out of OP's heart and abode. I hope at least the homeless dude got a nice new ensemble to wear and some warm damn shoes. Edit. I hope you thanked your hottie friend repeatedly. It's nice to see one with beauty use their powers for good in assisting others. Wow, dang girl. Now that's how you treat a cheater. None of this poor me son story. Girl, you are awesome. I loved reading this story. I don't get why these a-holes cry, and when you wouldn't have any of it, be mad instead of begging even more. Just shows they know what they did. Anyways, this is the level of petty and sassy I always aspire to reach. Sure hope more ladies can hold their own and corner those cheaters like you. Damn, you are one bad bitch. You need to take this skill and teach others. You are one Jedi Master. I bow down to your strength and discipline. My fiancé cheated on me with my father. I am a 27-year-old man. My fiancé is 26 years old. Let's call her L. My father is 52, call him B, and my mother is 50, call her R. Like many who have had something like this happen to them, I never thought it would happen to me. But here we are. I have never used Reddit before, but I have seen stories from here on TikTok, so I thought I would give it a shot for any advice you all could give me. From listening to some other stories, I know you all like backstories, so I will try to be as clear and precise as I can. But it has only been a week, so if I start to lose it during the telling of this, I am sorry. Elle and I met during her freshman year of college. We were both living in the same dorm building, where we eventually met. We later found out we lived 2 towns away from each other, so whenever we went home, I let her ride with me. It only added like 20 minutes to my drive, so it was no big deal. After multiple trips and hanging out at school, we started dating. I have a close-knit family and so did she, so we told our families right away. I had met hers plenty of times when dropping her off, but it was nothing more than an introduction and exchanging pleasantries. Both of our families accepted each other with open arms, and our relationship grew. I was a year ahead of her, so when I graduated, I went home and was offered a good job with great pay. I visited her at school whenever I got the chance, and whenever she came home, we would make time for each other. After she graduated, she moved in with me as both of our jobs were in the city near where we grew up. Like me, she was offered a position at the company she works at now with great pay. After living together for about 3 years, I proposed, and we had been planning our wedding ever since. Now on to the part you're all reading for. Looking back, there were plenty of things I overlooked. Things I just wrote off, thinking my father was just trying to welcome my fiancée into our family. Things like my father calling her all the time, and if I was around, they would just tell me they were talking about the upcoming family party or something along those lines. One time Elle was in the shower, and her phone rang. I saw it was my dad, so I answered. When he realized it was me, he sounded both upset and surprised that I had picked up. I asked what was up, and he responded that he wanted to talk to Elle about my mother's upcoming birthday, which was in a week. After a minute, we ended the call. Even typing this out now, I feel like an idiot for not seeing it sooner. On the day I found out, it was like any other day. Elle had Thursdays off, so she made breakfast for both of us. When I set out for work, she gave me a kiss and told me to have a great day. During my drive to work, I realized I had forgotten some paperwork I would need for a meeting I had at 3 p.m. I shrugged it off and told myself I would just go home at lunch to get it. Elle texted me throughout the day, talking about all the casual stuff couples talk about. Like, what do you want for dinner? I did the laundry. Do you want me to hang it up for you? Blah, blah, blah. I did not think it was necessary to text her that I was coming home for lunch. So when lunch came around, I just left work and went home. When I got home, I noticed a car that looked like my father's in our parking lot, but I did not think anything of it. I just parked and went into our building. When I opened the door, I was met with a scene straight out of a movie where a man comes home early and catches his spouse cheating. Such a cliche. There was a trail of clothes, both his and hers, leading to my bedroom, and the sound of faint moans echoed through my apartment. I stood at the door in utter shock. My brain was a mix of rage, sadness, and disgust. But if you were a fly on the wall, you would have seen me frozen, like a statue. I just could not move. When I finally snapped out of it, not knowing how much time had passed, I took out my phone to record. I picked up all the clothes that were on the floor and threw them into the hallway of the building. After that, I filmed my walk to the bedroom. The door was open. I stood in the doorway filming for about a minute, then flipped on the lights. They both jumped at the sudden light and looked at me, and to my utter shock, it was my father in the bed with her. After the initial stun, my father noticed I was recording and started to panic, trying to find anything to cover himself and telling me to stop recording. He found a towel, wrapped it around himself, and started to walk toward me. I told him, "If you do not want to get hurt, stop coming toward me." He either did not care or did not hear me and reached for my phone. I hit him square on the jaw. His head bounced off the door and he slumped to the ground. Elle shrieked. I aimed the camera at her and said, "Concerned about your fuck's buddy, but nothing to say to your—" I sat in my car for a while until one of the bosses at work called to ask where I was. I told her I was on my way back right now. When I got to her office to hand her the paperwork, I must have looked awful because she started asking what was wrong with me. I told her it was nothing and I'd be okay. I could see her scanning me up and down, and she noticed some blood on my collar and stood up, rushed to me and said, "You're bleeding." I looked down and said it was my father's. She looked confused, so I pulled out my phone and showed her the video. She watched it in its entirety. She was introduced to Elle a few times, but never my father. She sat there silent for a moment until it finally clicked that my fiancé was cheating on me, But not only was she cheating, it was with my father. She asked if there was anything she could do, suggesting I take some time off, but I told her I can't go back there right now. That I just need a minute and I'd be fine for the meeting, and I have another shirt in my office. The meeting went over fine. I put on a smile for everyone like nothing had happened. My boss came up to me after the meeting and asked how I could do that, but I just said I don't know and went to my office. I then came home, and I was alone for the first time in a very long time. Thank you for reading. I'm sorry I carried on so much, but it was therapeutic getting everything down. I just don't know what to do. I defiantly need to get the hell out of this apartment. I just can't live here anymore. And there's no possible way I'm sleeping in that bed. I know not only do I have to go get checked out, I for STDs, but I think I broke something in my hand.